Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each one of you, and welcome to another episode of this vlog in this channel. But if you haven't checked out my newsletter, you could go in and type a beautifulwisdom.substack.com. You could find a lot of helpful resources there for you, for anyone of you who is suffering from anxiety, panic, intrusive thoughts, and things like that. So I write about those things. And for this week, I wrote a newsletter and it's entitled Come Back Home to the Good Feeling. Feeling. I don't know about you, but I grew up in that generation where, or in which feeling, it's not something that is to be considered, especially, when making decisions, especially big decisions that could affect your life, because it was believed to be uh, very volatile and not to be trusted because it's very volatile. It goes up and down. So it will not really direct you to a good decision. At least that's how I I grew up in terms of the concept of feeling. And when I was writing this newsletter, I was supposed to write on a different topic, something that I have to write. But then, if ever there comes a point that, or if ever there comes a point that there are things to be, that needs to be done, needs to be written, have tos. I don't know about you, but I usually like feel tension in my neck, my shoulders, and I usually get stressed out whenever I have those have tos, need tos, must dos. But if there is one, what kind of rule that overrides that one is that I always go back to the feeling, that, like in this case, there's a good feeling that I want to write this topic. Because for me, if I feel like I wanna write this one or any particular topic in general, or I wanna do something that really feels I wanna do it. It comes out naturally, it's not forced, and it just flows. There is minimal effort, I would say. So yeah. So for this week, that is the topic I feel like I want to write, and I feel like the story wants to be written. So do you have that kind of experience? Yeah, let's go back to the feeling. Let's talk about first, like, bad feelings. To those of you, and I'm including myself, who live with every day of their lives in anxiety and panic, bad feelings seem to be a normal thing for us. It it became like a solid platform that we stand on day in and day out of our lives. Even I was saying earlier that feelings is a little tabooish, because it's fluctuating, it comes and goes. But with an anxious person or person dealing with worry, fear, and panic, that truth fades into the background, and accept that bad feelings is true. And we innocently accept that, that everything we think that gives off an unwanted feeling is something true. And since for those of us who experience anxiety and panic, good feelings come sporadically, maybe just a glimmer in our day to day life. It's just all about this bad feelings, this haze, this smoke that kind of like engulfing our very being. And so we don't even believe that good feelings can be true in our lives. Um, yeah, so I was saying that since we get it very rarely, the good feelings, we get to believe that, oh, okay, this bad feelings, this thought that gives off unwanted feelings may be true in fact. So I've given an example. So imagine this for a moment. You have this, you use this Google Maps. And usually when we use Google Maps, we type in where we are going, like to or from our point of origin, and then we type in to where we're going. Let's say I'm going to Grand Central Terminal. And then, so it will give me directions, instructions, what subway to take. And then, getting off from the subway, I would follow the GPS on where to walk, which direction to take. But imagine this for a moment. Instead of typing where you want to go, you would type where do you want to, where you don't want to go, or what you don't want to do, which places or things you want to avoid. So instead of going forward or going into that direction, of course, you'll move away or you're gonna step backwards, which is not natural. It's not our intuition to actually walk backwards. And can you imagine? It's really exhausting, right? Going against the natural, it's exhausting. I remember, I would just want to share this story if I could share. If, I don't know if this is a cultural thing in in from where I came from, that whenever there's something to celebrate about, whether you passed the exam or you got a job, you don't celebrate too much because you might jinx it, or that if you celebrate too much, you get so happy about it, the next thing that will come probably might not something or might be something bad. So that's why when you celebrate, just enough, that's it. So, and then if, for example, that bad thing happened by chance, coincidentally, it kind of reinforces that belief. And then later on, sooner, you believe that to be true, that belief that, okay, probably I'm not gonna celebrate too much, just keeping it chill and relaxed, even if, hey, I just got a promotion, just hey, people, just relax, because the next thing, we don't know what's gonna happen. The next thing, it might be something I might, before the promotion will be handed to me, probably the boss will think it twice and hand it to the next person, whatever. So, that kind of situation. So, the bad feelings become our everything. Having bad feelings, it's not necessarily that it's true. It's just a signal that our thinking in that moment is low. The mood, it's kind of low, and so actually anything that would come up, if our mood is low, or could be a handful of different factors, but primarily if our mood is low, then you wouldn't expect something good or positive that would come out in from your mind. Definitely, I mean, that would make sense to me. So, just like the what do you call that, the snow globe, the snow globe, when you shake that, let it settle, because it will always settle. It always does, no exceptions. That mood, that low mood, that foggy thinking, let it settle so that you'll have a more clear view of things. And a funny thing is that for people who are having severe anxiety, or anxiety in general, panic, when you start to have good feelings, you take it as an ominous sign that, okay, this is not normal for me. Why am I having a good feeling? Why am I feeling joyful? Why am I feeling loved? Why am I feeling grateful? Why am I having these thoughts of awe and wonder? Those things are just became something that is not natural for you, because that's rarely come to you. And so you get a feeling, this is not a good thing. So you turn that experiences to you turn that experience into something bad again. Isn't it funny? And I mean funny in a fun way. So good feelings, like, what the hell is that? Good feelings. When I was at the height of my anxiety and panic, even if I had that experience of, or a question in my mind, that why am I having this feeling of joy, or is this warmth I could not explain? Even if I had that doubt in my head, I was still desperate of wanting that feelings. And I would try to figure out how did it happen, and really worked hard for that to occur to me, for that to happen to me. And so what I would do, was that I would watch my favorite films. I listen to the theme songs of my life. I do the things that make me happy, just for me, in order to get a grasp of those good feelings again, because I don't want to be in this state of just anxiety and fear and worry and stress 24/7 of my life. And when I get that good feeling, again that question pops up. Okay, why am I having this? Is there gonna be a bad thing that will happen next? What the heck? What is wrong with me? And in in those moments you just wanted to bask in that feeling of lightness and love, in that depth of good feelings. You wanted that. But then when the thinking, when your thinking, personal thinking takes over, then that will be taken away, or not really taken away, but fades into the background and just blown away. Poof. Not because good feelings are something that we really need to work hard on to get. It's not something outside that we have to grab and push ourselves to make that, or to grab those and put it in ourselves. No, those feelings of love, awe, wonder, warmth, joy, gratitude, that or those are our natural state. Yeah, those feelings are our natural state. It's actually the other way around, that when our personal thinking takes over, then kind of like pushes that away into the background, and the anxiety and panic and the stress gets again the main character energy in our lives. What if I tell you this? What if I tell you that that concept of you, oh, probably I'm just gonna live this like this forever, that I am not going to have this good feelings, that I have to work hard on to get this good feelings, that I have to do things for me to have this good feelings? What if, or why does my intellect takes over when I'm in this indescribable vastness and depth of a beautiful feeling? What if I tell that it's just a habit? A habit, it's just also a thought, and it doesn't have to be true in your life right now. Yeah, why, what if I tell you that it's just something that you do, kind of like feels like automatic, but it's just a thought. Habits are just set of things that you think or act on based on repetition. So what if it's just all thought, and we have free will? You could choose not to play that repetitive habit in your life right now. What is what matters to you more right now? Maybe you're thinking that no, you're not right. It's a habit, it's automatic. I could not in any way break that, or it's just hard for me. Let me let me ask you something. What matters more to you right now? I know you've been through a lot of techniques, ways, courses, anything that would get rid of your anxiety. You work hard of managing it, just keeping it at bay. What matters more to you right now is it proving that you are right, that you're just gonna live this way, or feeling more? That the very thing that considered to be tabooish, or you have been taught not to listen to the feelings because it couldn't be trusted, but you felt that immense feeling of love, of gratitude, of warmth. You felt that. It's all about those feelings. What matters to you more? To prove that you're right, or to be in those feelings, to come back home in those feelings one more time? I don't know about you, but that mattered more to me. I'm um I I just surrendered of proving myself, or proving that I am right. I'm just so over that anymore. So over that. I just wanna bask in and come home. I'm not saying that we only have to have good feelings. That the goal is not to have bad feelings. What I'm saying is that if ever you come, because life is a contact sport and we get bumps here and there, but whenever we happen to have those bumps or curveballs along the way, you could just take it in stride, avoid unnecessary injuries or suffering, and know that it's temporary. Just like good feelings too, they're temporary. But the truth will remain that our true nature is not worry, not anxiety, not fear, not stress. No, it's it's peace, love, joy, gratitude, awe, wonder. That is our natural state. We always fall back into that. We don't even have a choice because that's is how we are designed. Um, the last part of um, my newsletter, yeah, come back home to the good feeling, and I shared a little excerpt from the movie Karate Kid. I think this was from the first one, Karate Kid 1. Um, so Mr. Miyagi invited Daniel LaRusso to come over and try to work on the bonsai. And then Daniel was saying, "Oh, these are beautiful." And then Mr. Miyagi said, "Oh, come over and give it a try." And he said, "No, no, no, I don't think so. I could mess it up. Just try." And then Mr. Miyagi said, "Just close your eyes and just picture the tree, only the tree. Nothing else matters in the world but the tree. And now open your eyes and work on the bonsai." And while Mr. Miyagi walks away from where was Daniel, where Daniel was, he could sense his skepticism on actually working on the bonsai. And he said, um, you know, just trust the picture. And Daniel said, "How would I know if my picture is the right one?" And Mr. Miyagi said, "If come from inside you, always the right one." Mr. Miyagi. You feel that? It, if it comes from inside you, it is the right one. I know even if you are saying 24/7 you are having anxiety and panic, there's no rest. But I am sure in that in between the 24/7 there's a glimmer there. And I know for sure, don't lie to yourself, that that glimmer, that that feeling comes from inside of you and not from outside, not from your thinking, not here. Yeah, be honest to yourself. It comes here inside of you, your whole being, something beyond your self. It's right. Have faith in that. That is true. Because it is home. A home is something like where you could hang your hat, lift your legs, and finally you could wear your sleepers after a day of walking, running, going on a specific direction, or as an anxious person, really just nowhere. It seems like you are going in circles all the time. Yeah, it's home. If it comes from the inside, it's true. It's the right one. Let me share this video with a quotation that I came across from a YouTube video of a 87-year-old Shimei Nakoyoji, who found his passion for running in the pursuit of movement. And he said these things: "Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul." I run while looking at the sky, and by doing so, I truly feel the universe. When I read that, I I don't exactly understand what it meant. But there was just, I was washed away with warmth. There were no words, only good feeling. And then after that, it says, I heard this, I heard the dispatcher saying, "It's Grand Central Terminal. It's 42nd Street, Grand Central Terminal. And then my thinking took over, and then the feeling stopped, and then I have to get off from the subway. So there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, or you found something insightful. And yeah, come back home to the good feeling. It's all about the feelings. It's the feeling. If it's coming from you in the inside, it's the truth. It's the right one. All right, thank you so much. See you next time, and enjoy whatever you're working, and have a good one. Bye.